Hello, good morning. I have a confession to make. I have developed a mild obsession with Turkish breakfast while in Istanbul the past few weeks. I feel like I haven't experienced breakfast correctly till this point in my life. Anyways, these are the three best Turkish breakfasts I ate in Istanbul. Each are in different neighborhoods, so let's go on a little Istanbul tour while we're at it. First, we are in Kuzguncuk. Kuzguncuk is a colorful, village-like neighborhood on Istanbul's Asian side. Most people, including myself, stay on the European side when in Istanbul, but it is very easy to get to the Asian side. There's a subway that crosses the Bosphorus, and it is the deepest underwater subway in the world. Once arriving, you can see how beautiful it is. I headed to Gul Cafe because it got very good Google reviews. Even though it says the Turkish breakfast is for two, they can also cater it to one. It started out with this purple basil syrup infused juice thing, kind of like a shot of purple basil. I didn't even know purple basil was a thing.
Wow!
So apparently, the Turkish breakfast spread, kahvaltı, literally means before coffee. In Ottoman times, breakfast was quite simple, just bread, olives, cheese. But then coffee in the 16th century shaped the practice of a morning meal. And over time, more and more items were added, like jams, kaymak, all sorts of regional dishes. And today's serpme kahvaltı, spread-style breakfast, became popular in the 20th century.
Oh,
Milk jam.
milk jam?
Milk jam. Pişi.
Okay.
Pişi. Milk jam.
Alright, let's try the pishi. Even though it looked like a donut, it was much less sweet and more pillowy than a regular donut. The closest thing I could think of in comparison would be a beignet. As the lady suggested, pairing it with the jam, and I'm almost sure it was molasses jam, was impeccable. They gave 4 different types of white cheese. Fun fact, Turkey has over 200 regional varieties of cheese. This cheese was a bit bland on its own, so I tried it with some of the jams. Okay, then I tried this za'atar-infused olive oil with the bread. Supposedly za'atar is common in southeastern Turkish foods. Anyways, as expected, this was very good. But this fried egg was probably the best fried egg I've ever had, no joke. Seemingly in Turkey, there's always an abundance of cucumbers and tomatoes. I tried the homemade orange jam with some turkey and cheese, and it was like these little chunks of orange inside, a pop of citrus in the mouth. I wanted to compare all the jams at once, so I tried the same cheese with each of them. I think in the jams, you can really taste how homemade everything is. They also served 2 little baked goods, which, to be real, were my least favorite part of the meal. This one had some olives inside, and it was a little on the dry side. The next one had some cheese inside, but I found it a bit dry as well. Or maybe I was just very impressed by everything else that these didn't stand out to me. The ladies working here were very sweet, and I kept exploring Kuzguncuk after this. It was once home to Greeks, Armenians, Jews, and Turks, and it still remains a very multicultural place. Honestly, it feels rather like a village than a place in the middle of a big city. The streets are lined with these wooden Ottoman houses, all painted in bright colors. There are cafes, produce shops, art shops, and bakeries that give it this warm, local feel. The community even makes apartments in the parks for the kittens. It feels so peaceful and authentic, which is why this ended up being my favorite neighborhood in all of Istanbul. It is a very green part of Istanbul with several parks surrounding the area. This is me sitting down for a rest, but I dropped my phone, which thankfully did not get hurt in the process. As it is hilly, you can get an incredible view of Istanbul. You can find beautiful and historic mosques all over the city, which I really enjoy visiting. However, it is etiquette to dress properly by covering knees and shoulders, which obviously I wasn't dressed for today. But most of the bigger mosques offer clothes that you can wear for free just outside of the mosque. On another day, I went exploring the Beyoğlu district of Istanbul, which is on the European side and probably just the heart of Istanbul's tourism. However, I found this cafe that was kind of humble looking and had fairly reasonable prices, at least for 2025. They did have a typical Turkish breakfast with a huge spread of 20 or so dishes, but I wanted to try the milama. Is just made with a handful of simple ingredients: cornmeal, butter, water, and plenty of stretchy cheese. When it's cooked, it becomes rich, golden, gooey, and you can see the strings of cheese pulling endlessly from the pan. It looks a little like fondue and tasted a little like it too, but it's different in that fondue is melted cheese mixed with wine and usually eaten as the main event, but milama is made with cornmeal and always served as part of a bigger breakfast table. The dish was created out of necessity in these Black Sea villages because corn was a staple crop and dairy was plentiful, and over time it became a tradition. Even if it's not a kahvaltı or spread-style breakfast, Turkish breakfast is never just one dish, so there were also cucumbers, tomatoes, olives, cheese, and Turkish tea. Bread is almost sacred in Turkey, so there was also this baklava, which is a thick, soft flatbread, served here with homemade strawberry jam.
I think he got mildly offended that I didn't finish the whole thing, so when I was in the bathroom, he just packaged it up for me. But I will still eat it because I'm a real food waste hater.
Now we are in Moda, one of Istanbul's most relaxed neighborhoods. Aside from the tram that goes around the neighborhood, the cats, the plants along the streets, the architecture, the art shops, everything about this neighborhood, we were in luck because we found the perfect place to have another spread style of Turkish breakfast. But this one was different from the first one. This place genuinely felt like eating at your friend's house or maybe even your grandma's house. It's run by a family and it seems like they are all involved in some process of the way the food is made here. This guy came out and he explained every single dish, like where it came from or how it was prepared, all of that.
Here jam jam from Antalya. That's famous in fresh cheese.
Thank you so much.
Atika like a salsa with spicy and walnut and paratha. Green olive from Balıkesir and black olive from Edremit. That's name's kaymak, full of cream and olive oil. Zahter. Zahter a traditional spice. Toast the bread, cut olive oil, and touch this. That's a good couple. That's name is pishi. I know like a donut, but not my mouth Paris.
Wow.
Enjoy it.
Wow.
The first thing I tried on this table was ajuka, which is a typical Turkish spread that often shows up on breakfast tables. It was savory and a little bit spicy, and it's made from tomato paste, pepper paste, ground walnuts, breadcrumbs, olive oil, and some spices, and it went so well with the bread. Then I tried the za'atar with the olive oil, and it was also so good with the bread. This was a fig jam, which I kind of just ate on its own because it truly was that good. I love how the jams represent the lusciousness of each season. Figs have been my favorite fruit that I've been eating in Turkey. I feel like Turkish breakfasts in general tend to be pretty vegetarian, but because we ordered the meat one on the menu, they came with this smoky sausage, which was a 10 out of 10. This regular stringy cheese was pretty good, but the real star of the cheese show was this dish that is apparently popular in Izmir, which is like a soft cheese in some kind of jam, I think it was. Yeah, anyways, whatever it was, I was impressed. Of course, some veggies and also watermelon for good measure. More of the pishi, like there was at the first breakfast, but this time there were two varieties, and the second one was purple. I don't really know what made it purple, but I appreciated it nonetheless. So that's the taste of a real Turkish breakfast. I hadn't tried Turkish breakfast before coming to Istanbul, but what really impressed me about it is the sheer variety of flavors that show up on the table and how you can taste a little bit of everything from the different regions of Turkey. Aside from that, it's just the type of meal that is supposed to be eaten leisurely and at a slow pace, like on a weekend or something. And even though I ate all of these on weekdays because free will, I'm happy to be rest assured that the next time I come back to Istanbul or Turkey, there are plenty more places and dishes I can try at a Turkish breakfast.